people. Today we're doing the last winter set of the season on my own nails, and I'm calling this Winter Bling, as I got a bit carried away with the embellishments. This is the color I'm using as my base color. I had bought a set of these a while back, and I've done nothing with them other than swatch them, so I'm going to try them out on here. Now, as you can see, it's kind of a sheer blue. It's not real opaque. If you go in with 2 coats, it will be opaque, but we're going to be chroming these, so I only wanted to deal with the 1 coat. Hope you guys all had a good New Year. We didn't do anything as usual. We usually don't on New Year's. We usually stay home, watch movies, and whatnot. Alright, we almost have this on. And then we are, well, a little bit of cleanup, and then we'll be ready to cure. Okay, and we're going to be using a no wipe top coat. This one is Beetles. Now, I don't know what was going on with this top coat. It is ridiculously thick, and I don't know if it's just because it's been cold here, especially at night. But I've never had a gel polish thicken up like that before, so I mean, everything seemed to work with it fine, so I don't know what the story is. I suppose I could have set it in a little glass of hot water for a while, but who has the time to bother with that extra stuff? So we just decided to move on. But I'm taking extra care to make sure I've got everything thoroughly covered, and I'm wiping over it several times. I'm trying to get some of the excess bit of it off, because I didn't want it being real super thick and bulking up my nails worse than they already are going to be. And we'll be, in a second here, we're going to be ready to cure that. Okay, in we go for curing, I think. Yep. Okay, now we're moving on to the chrome. As you can see by the mess on my mat there, and I forgot to hit record when I did my good hand, so you're going to have to watch me do chrome with my offhand. Now, since they're going to have an ombre on most of them, I'm starting off with the blue chrome at the top. Then I'm just dabbing some silver chrome at the tips, which I will rub in, and I'm using a separate finger for this than I am with the blue one. Okay, now I'm going to get the silver rubbed in first, then I'm going to rub in the blue. And then I will just go up a little bit with the silver and then down over it with the blue one. And that is how I'm getting my ombre. I know I've been using a lot of chrome powders lately. I just really like the way they look. So the next one is the ring finger, and this one's all going to be solid blue. Now, I did not realize that this blue chrome was a hollow chrome until after I top coated it, which is fine, but I had originally pulled out a silver and it was a hollow one. It's like, I didn't want that. I want regular, so it's going to match with the, the blue. And then come to find out, the blue is hollow. So I could have kept the hollow silver. It would have been all right, I guess. Now that one there, I managed to get silver up on top of where the blue is, and now it's on there and I could not get it off. I mean, I could have top coated again and then did blue again, but I didn't really want to deal with that. Also because on that one, it's going to be mostly covered up anyway with embellishments. So I didn't bother to fix it. I think this is the last one I'm going to show, and then we'll move on because they're all basically the same thing. Get us a little bit of silver on the tip. And don't forget the free edge. Also, since I use blue as my base on this, the silver's got a little bit of a blue undertone to it, which kind of works with this. And I forgot to show you brushing off the loose chrome before top coating. Just use it a soft brush and give it a brush off before you go in with the top coat, which is what I'm doing now, top coat. And I'm using the tempered top coat on this part now. This is when I realized that the blue was hollow. Now see that one? I managed to get a scratch in my chrome, and I don't know how that happened. But we're going to cover that up with embellishment so you won't see it later on. I mean, it could have been fixed by re-chroming that one over top of it, but once again, I didn't want to spend the extra time. Okay, now once I cure this top coat on here and do the rest of them, I will go then wash my hands really good and get all this chrome off of there. And we're back, ready for the snowflakes. I'm using the Saviland painting gel for these. Now, we're going to just do drag snowflakes, but on this one, I don't know why I did not put the center dot on at the beginning. I was just this is what I'm still kind of mapping out in my head, exactly what I'm going to do for these. Because once again, I don't generally practice a lot of this stuff ahead of time. Now, I start off by dragging from the outside in, which is not the way that we want to really be doing this. I believe I did maybe 2 of these before I decided I need a center dot, so I know where I'm going with these. Nope, I just did 1 and then realized, okay, now we're cooking with gas here. Now see, if you drag from the center out, you can get the whole thing in one swipe. The way I'm doing it on this particular one, which was wrong, and I don't know why I'm doing it that way, that's just how I started. Now I'll have to go back and add the pointy bit on those outer ones. Whereas if you drag from the center out through both of the dots, you'll get that in one stroke. And then I wanted some secondary ones in the smaller in between. Now on this one, I started off with doing them just with the brush. As we went along, I started using a smaller dotting tool for the secondary dots. I mean, after I got this first snowflake done, I kind of had mapped out, like, okay, I know what I'm going to do with the rest of these, so I need to just do it. And it will be in a much more easier, productive fashion. This one was kind of my experiment at figuring out what I wanted to do. Plus, painting on my own nails like this is very awkward because you got to turn your hand in all these crazy ways. Yet another reason why I like doing the press-on nails, because it's just easier. It's easier. Your painting can be better because you can turn them and move them however you want. See, these are the pointy bits that should have gone on there if I had done that correctly the first time. There's a good look at the hollow blue on my thumb there. I wished I'd used the hollow silver now too, but is what it is now. Okay, now I'm going to flash this when I'm happy with it for just 30 seconds, and then I'm going to move on, and I'll do the same with this one. And then by the time I get to the index finger, that'll get a full cure, and the rest of those will be in there with it, and they'll get their full cure. But this one is going to be done in the proper way that I should have done it in the first place on the other one. I found that I had a really hard time keeping my hand very relaxed, so I tend to want to make it very stiff and press it down, and that's how my fingers get all shaky like that. So I had to concentrate on keeping my hand relaxed while I was doing this. And these are the secondary dots. Now on this one, they're kind of lined up with the outer one, so you kind of get a square with a dot in the middle. Sorta. It's a little wonky, but when we get to the thumb, I did that one a little bit differently. I put the secondary dots down in a little closer to the center, so when I did the lines, it gave me kind of a swoopy part to it. See, now this is how we should have done the other one. Start in the center and drag outwards. Although you need to be like centered, but now I will go over a little bit over those other center lines and get them on there a little better, because some of them don't drag all the way out to the outer dot. But I will go and fix that. I kind of hate to do it because I had them so nice and skinny. I didn't want to end up getting them to be too fat. Now we're going to go from, well, wait, I gotta get that one better. We're gonna go with the secondary dots. We're gonna drag into the center instead of going outwards, because they're not gonna have that little like tail on the outside part. Okay, that was me trying to get my hand to relax. That's one thing that I've had a hard time learning how to do, because if I'm holding something in my hand where I'm doing, like the hand I'm holding my brush with, like I'm gripping that brush like it's going to try and fly away. And I do the same thing if I'm writing with a pen or pencil. I grip it really hard, and I don't know why. I just always have done that. So it's hard for me to get them to be relaxed. Okay, now what I'm going to do is make some teeny tiny little dots next to the longer lines, and just like go like a little swoop into the middle there, like so. Now some of these came out nice, some of them came out too fat. Weirdly, there was like one direction I was going with them where they were all coming out good, and when I did the opposite direction, they were coming out really bad. So clearly, like that one's way too fat. I need to have more practice time at this kind of delicate stuff. Another reason that I was flashing these as I was going along is because I was really afraid I was going to bump it. While I'm doing this one, I bump the little one on something and then mess it up and then have to start all over. So there's that. This part here was doing the snowflakes was a little time consuming, and when we get to the embellishments, that took me a long time. And I forgot to say, this set took me 3 hours and 45 minutes to do. Okay, now we're on to the index finger. I forgot to hit record before I started with the dots, so that other one should be a little smaller than what it is, but It's fine. We're going to go with it. I think this one here was one of the easiest ones. And as I was going along, they were getting faster and faster to do. Even the ones on my offhand didn't come out too shabby this time. There's a few spots on them I'm not happy with, but for the most part, they actually came out decently. Now, I thought about embossing these, but every time I try to do that when I've got really fine, delicate lines, it seems like the embossing stuff squishes them out, so then they look thick, and then I don't like how they look after that. So I decided just to keep them with the paint. While we have a little time here, next week I'm going to attempt to do a Chinese New Year set, which may or may not have a dragon on it, depending on if I can find one that I think I am capable of reproducing or not. I'll have my son on the job researching some different Chinese characters for me, because I have a stamping plate that has characters all around the edge that I would like to use some of those, but I need to know what they mean before I do it. Now this is the thumbnail. Now see, on these secondary dots I'm going in just a skosh closer to the center, so they're not going to make a perfect square on the outside, and it will make it have like a swoopy look to it when we get it drawn out, when we get it dragged out. Anyway, back to the other thing. I'm leery of using any of these characters since I don't know what any of them mean, because I don't want to put something on there that's going to end up either being offensive or completely irrelevant to what I'm doing with it. So I'm hoping he's going to be able to find the meanings of those for me. So if I have that set done next time and you guys see it, if there's no characters on there, you'll know I couldn't find anything that I was confident enough to use that way. It's definitely going to be a red set with gold. That's all I know so far. And I'm hoping to get a dragon on there somehow. Might be a little odd that I'm doing a Chinese New Year set when I've never done a regular New Year set just for us. For the regular New Year stuff. Don't mind my sloppy cuticles either. Watching myself paint this is painful. It's like I'm going so slow. You would think I had that in slow motion, but I didn't. Okay, now those extra little tiny bits. Now once I get these on here, you'll see what I'm saying about the swoopy look instead of the straight, like squared off kind of look. I was quite proud of myself when I got these done, because I actually had nice thin lines for the most part on my snowflakes, which is something I struggled with. So it is getting better, slowly, but it is getting better. except for that one. That's a fat one. And then I'm going to make it worse by trying to put a dot at the top. I probably should have wiped that one off and started that part over, but I didn't want to. Now see how it's like goes down in like a half circle there? That's what I'm calling the swoopy part. So it's not just straight like the other ones. Okay, so I've cured all those. I've done the rest. Now we're moving on to the bling. I've had these charms here for eons. They were part of a like grab bag thing that came from what used to be Bundle Monster. My daughter bought me for a gift at some point, and I'd been holding on to them all this time. And there's the silver crystals. We had the blue ones. So I decided, we got all different sizes caviar beads. I decided I'm going to use these charms this time. So I've had them in there and I've had them in there. I look at them every time. I was kind of saving them for something really fancy, but I'm doing them on this set. So we're gonna zhuzh them up a little bit. I'm gonna add some of the blue crystals to the charm itself with our trusty gem glue. Actually, in a couple of weeks, my birthday's coming up, so I feel justified to have extra blingy nails this month. At least that's the story I'm telling everybody, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, now right at this first part, I'm just going to put some of these, I'm just going to lay some of these on here and look at them and decide if that's what I want to do before I glue anything on. Now the clear crystals that are on these charm things, they're not like laying flat into the charm. They're raised up a bit and they have really sharp edges to them. They are super sparkly, but they're really super sharp and they stick up a lot. So I've already cut myself on one of them, and I just know they're going to get caught on something when I have to wash my hair the next time. It's probably going to be a nightmare. But we'll get through it. Okay, now I'm ready to glue these on. And I'm kind of putting a lot of glue because it's not like a level surface, and the glue's going to drop down inside of there. And I wasn't sure how much is going to actually stick to the crystal, and how much of it's going to fall down into the grooves of this thing. So I figure better be safe with extra glue than not enough. Now, so far I've had these on for, this is Friday, I did these on Tuesday, so a few days. The only thing I've had is I had a couple of the caviar beads come off that I've replaced already, but other than that, everything's still on there. Now once I get these blue crystals on, I'll do the other one off camera, but then I'm going to put them in. I'm going to cure them for 90 seconds before I do anything else with them. And I decided to throw another one on that top bit right there. That one did kind of fall down in the grooves a bit. You can see the charm, there's like see-through parts. It's like kind of a lacy thing. So I don't really get why they didn't put the crystals down in the holes more, so they were recessed on there better, but it is what it is. Okay, I think I'm good, and that's going to be ready for curing. In you go, and we're going to be ready to put it on there now. I'm going to start with that one, and I'm going to put on a lot of glue because I want to make sure it's on there really good, because it's a bit on the heavy side, and I don't want it coming off when I get it caught on something, which inevitably I'm going to do. And also I'm going to be adding a few extra bits around the bottom part and on the sides, just a little bit. Now, this part of this is where I kind of went wrong. So if you guys are going to do this, something like this, once you get the charm on there and you get it going where you want it and everything's lined up nicely, I would cure it right then. I did not do that myself. I figured I'm only going to add a couple little extra bits, so it should be fine. And I did it all in one go, which it kept moving around, and being that it's so heavy, every time I'm turning my finger from one side to the other, it's like sliding over, either one way or the other. So it got moved to not exactly where I had originally placed it. And it got cured that. Well, this one's not so bad. The other one, on the other hand, is slightly crooked because it moved on me. Right, I had it lined all up nicely, and in the little bit of area, like maybe 8 inches away from where I'm at in the picture there, I straightened it all out. It was perfect, and from moving it from there to right into the lamp, like 8 inches away, and to cure it, somehow it shifted again. So the one on my left hand is slightly crooked. So it would have been easier to deal with if I had cured the big charm first before I start adding these extra bits. Now I'm just adding the caviar beads of varying sizes around the outside of here because I wanted this to tie in with the other nails that are going to have a lot of these little balls on there. And I did, I don't know if it's on there already or I'm not seeing that, but I did add, I think let me see. I did add a couple of blue crystals on the outer bit too, on that outer part. It's hard to see them with the blue background. I may not have put them on there, that I can't tell. That was a silver one. And I did try to shove some of them up underneath the edge a little bit so that it would help to not have a big hard edge there that is going to get caught on things worse. Anything like that where there's going to be an edge that's open underneath it like that, if you could shove anything under there to glue in, it's usually a good idea because it helps to keep it so it's not going to get caught on as much stuff. Also, I considered putting a crystal in the center of each of the snowflakes, maybe a silver one, but I decided not to do that either, because when you have single crystals placed on there just randomly in spots like that, they tend to come off. You bump them on stuff, they come off. If you can keep them clustered together, I hardly ever lose any crystals. They stay on so much better that way, which is something I wish I had known early on when I started doing crystals on my nails, because I used to use them as flower centers, or one crystal here, one there, and different things, and I was constantly re-gluing them on. So I've learned that lesson. Although you will see me do it occasionally still, I try not to. There, you can see where I've put them around the edge a bit. Now, once I'm happy with that and I'm going to get everything lined up again where I want it to be and straightened out, then I think we're going to be ready for curing this one. And now I've got to move all the stuff that was around the sides back and get that back where it was. And what are we doing? Okay, now I'm cleaning off some of the glue that was slopped down here on the bottom part. And then I think we're ready to go for curing. And in we go. Now I'm going to give that one full cure. Now I have sped this up to 4 times the speed because this is very time consuming. It took me a long time. So I think I'm going to show you this one, and I think maybe one other one. And then that's all we're going to see. I'm just randomly putting these different things on here of the stuff that I've already started using. Now this pinky nail ended up with a bit more on here than I really probably should have used, because it's a little chunky. I'm not super happy with that one, but what I did with these two is once I get this one on, all the stuff on it, I will flash it for 30 seconds and then continue on with the other two fingers that are going to be needing stuff on that hand, and then I'll flash as I go, and then I will cure all of it at one time for the full time. That just, as I'm working on the other ones, it helps it keep these things from shifting around, falling off, and me bumping them. And I don't want to do a full cure one at a time, because that takes a lot longer to sit there. Okay, that's the one that had the scratch. Now you'll notice I put the glue in like a swoopy part down over where the scratch was, and we're just going to cover that with whatever I'm putting on there. Whatever embellishments I'm deciding to put on is going to cover that scratched area. Anytime you have an imperfection like that, you've got glitter, you've got embellishments, you've got stickers, decals, a multitude of stuff that you can use to cover it up if you don't want to have to redo that part. So sometimes you'll notice if I may have something placed in an odd area that you wouldn't normally expect to see it on, it's probably because there was some kind of a defect right there that I was trying to cover up. So that's why some of that happens. That one did not want to stay on. These bigger balls did not want to stay on there. And I didn't even use the largest size that I have. And then I had issues with these littler ones wanting to stick to my brush and not get off of there. Okay, I think we're almost done with that one. Okay, so I've done those. I finished them up. We have cured them fully, and now this is the final top coat. I'm going to butt this up against all the embellishment stuff. Now you can put the top coat over the balls, but don't get it on your jewels. Well, that sounded rather dirty, didn't it? Unintentional. Okay, moving on. You don't want it on your crystals, because then they will not sparkle if you get top coat on them. So I'm just going around the rest of it, and so that covers up my gluey mess that I probably have on there. And I will cure those, and then we're done. Woohoo! There we are, full set. I hope you like them. I'm pretty happy with how they came out. If you do, please give me a like. I'd really appreciate it. And if you want to see more, I upload a new video every Saturday. So next time, as I said, we'll be hopefully having Chinese New Year nails of some sort, with possibly a dragon on them. Okay, that's all I have for you guys this time. Try to stay warm out there. I know it's been cold here for us. But I see you guys next time. Take care. Bye-bye.